Hi guys, it's Kai here, and real quickly I just wanted to mention I accidentally forgot to start recording my game, so I did the bathroom and part of the kitchen before I even realized it, but I'm glad I kind of caught it. So anyway, today I have it's kind of a speed build, but not really video because it's a collab with the awesome Ambrjet. So she built the house and then I downloaded it and furnished the house. So if you head over onto her channel, you can see her do this amazing build. It's called the 3-Story Modern and it is absolutely stunning, and you can watch all her other build videos as well because holy crap is she an amazing builder. Let me just say she puts my non-skills to shame. But anyway, so like I said, she built the house and then here I am furnishing it. So in case you couldn't tell from the title, it does have 3 stories to it. And on the lower floor here I put there's a bathroom and there's a kitchen, a dining room, a study area, and kind of like a living room hangout type area. And before I get too into describing, you know, like the rooms or the styles or anything, when I go to furnish a house or even build a house, I kind of create a sim family, like either one sim or multiple sims or whatever, before I furnish it. That way I kind of have a direction to go in. And for this one, I was thinking of a couple. So in this case, a male and a female sim, but it could be any kind of couple, you know, whatever you want to use it for. But in this case, I went male and female. And I was thinking that they would be, you know, really, really well off, you know, young, just a young, really powerful, I guess you can say, couple. And I picture the woman kind of being, you know, prim and proper, and she wants everything in its place and, you know, perfectly put. And she doesn't really like a lot of clutter around. But her husband is kind of like the opposite, I guess you can say. Like, he's still really well off. Like, I picture him in like the scientist career or something like that. And he is not nearly as, you know, prim and proper. He likes to have clutter. He likes, you know, his little collections of things, but she doesn't necessarily let him, you know, display that. So you'll see that I tend not to put a lot of decorations up just because I can imagine, you know, like the two of them going out shopping or something and him picking up like something awesome, like my favorite blue ceramic pig that that I use a lot in my builds. And she just gives him this look of like, no, we're not having that in this house. So I did make a couple areas that were kind of, you know, truly his. So the office area that you saw me do, that was kind of his, and that's why in there I went a little darker with the colors, and I also added, you know, some clutter to it. I put, you know, file boxes around because I can just picture him, you know, being a scientist. He's got all sorts of paperwork, he's got, you know, just all sorts of little knickknacks that he wants to display, so he has his own little room to do that in. But the rest of the living space I tried to keep, you know, tried not to do too much clutter, but I still didn't want it to look unfurnished. So I tried to pick some pieces that looked like, you know, she would want them in the house, if that makes any sense. And based on, I know we didn't see the outside of the house yet, or the exterior, but based on the exterior of the house, I was trying to stick with, you know, light kind of tan-ish colors. Oh, and I threw in the tragic clown there just because I had to. Ever since they put him in the game with the update, I've been dying for an excuse to put it in game, so I did. What was I saying? Oh, the colors. I tried to stick, you know, with really light colors. I tend to put a lot of fun colors on the wall, but with this one, I actually stayed with the white color that Ambrjet had put on the walls because I looked at the space and I was like, I really like the way the white looks. But I did put a few rooms have a little bit of color in it, like I said, the study, and I believe the bathrooms have like some tile to them, and then the bedrooms have some color in them. So I just did, you know, a little bit of color, but for the most part it is, you know, white. It's the light colored woods. It's, you know, not a lot of knickknacks, but I did try to use a good amount of plants because I wanted it to look kind of lush, because we'll see the outside later, but it is beautifully landscaped. So I was like, okay, you know, we can have a good amount of plants inside, but not necessarily a lot of clutter objects. Although I must say, all the clutter objects that I was trying to use, they weren't really going with the theme of this house, because like I said, this is a modern home, and I realized we don't really have that many modern decorations. We have a decent amount of modern furniture, but not anything that's like ultra modern. So it was a little difficult, but I kind of really liked it because most of the homes that I do are more traditional in style. They aren't They aren't modern or super modern or anything, but I thought that was really fun. It was kind of a nice practice, I guess you can say. I definitely can't build modern. I've tried to do it before and I suck at it, so I'm going to stick to my traditional building, but it was really fun to be able to decorate a modern home. And also, in case you couldn't notice, I put this house in Oasis Springs, and the reason I did that is because, well, one, I didn't really have a plot anywhere else to put it, but it worked out perfectly because this land, or this piece of land, is 30 by 20, and I had a 30 by 20 plot in Oasis Springs, but it also worked out really well because, like I said, the outside or the exterior of the home it's got browns, it's got oranges, you know, that light, it's got a good mixture of light and dark kind of colors like that, and I thought that it went really, really well with the colors and the landscape of Oasis Springs. So I plopped it down there, and thank God the lot that I put it on had grass, because some of the plots in Oasis Spring obviously don't have grass. They have, you know, sand or dirt or whatever. So I put it down, and I was like, please, please, please have grass. So it did have grass, and it works out perfectly because, like I said, outside she did some wonderful landscaping, and see, you can see it now. But this home and this landscaping would look really weird if it was on like dirt, basically. But it worked out because we do have grass, and it looks really nice. So I did, I kind of, when I was looking at the outside, I was like, okay, what kind of exterior landscaping or, you know, decorating would these kind of people have? So again, I had to kind of remind myself of who these kind of people were. You know, like I said, the female is more like a prim and proper, you know, everything in its place. So I was like, okay, maybe she's like into yoga or something like that, and I put the little yoga and meditation thing out there. You know, just, you know, keeping it really simple, but I put enough seating to where, like, if they had a party, everyone could hang out there and it would be all good, you know, plenty of seating or whatever. And then now we are on to the second floor, and there's 2 bedrooms. There is an upper 3rd floor, but I turned that into something else, not a bedroom. It could be a bedroom if you wanted to, though. But down here, what I did is, you can see I'm making kind of like a baby room, like a nursery. So again, my thinking behind these Sims is the female Sim, you know, since she was a young girl, maybe has pictured herself, you know, or like planned out her life saying, like, by this age I want to do this, by this age I want to be married, by this age I want to have kids, you know, yada yada yada, that kind of stuff. I'm sure we all know someone like that. I know a couple people like that. So I just picture her like that, and in my mind I kind of made up this whole story. So I'm picturing her as like, she's at that age now where she's like, okay, it's time for me to have a child, and you know, I think maybe she's having some issues with it, so she's getting past her kind of deadline for having children, and she's kind of maybe internally struggling with that a little bit. Like, she's already has the room all set up, but she's just not pregnant yet. So I think that could open up, you know, a few ways of doing an interesting story or whatever. But you may have noticed in the kids' bedroom, I didn't make it very childlike. Like, I did put a couple toys and, you know, little things like that, but I didn't overly decorate it like I normally do with kids' rooms, just again because I feel like the mother would be like, you know, very, I don't want to say intense, but, you know, I only want, you know, this kind of thing, or the best of the best for my child. I don't want any of that clutter that does nothing, you know, so that's why I kind of picture her as just, you know, nothing on the walls, and then just a few toys that are, you know, the most expensive toys or whatever, and then just, you know, she's got he or she, the baby, would have whatever they need as they grow up. So I did put like a dresser in there, and I put a twin bed, and, you know, as the child grows up and doesn't need the bassinet anymore, you could put like a desk in there as well, or you could put like one of those walk-in wardrobes, whatever you want to put. And then here is the master bedroom, and I made this one the master bedroom, 1 because it's bigger, and 2 because there's a porch leading right off of it, and there's also, or yeah, I guess you'd call that a porch. A balcony? Yeah, balcony I think is a better word for it. So it had 2 balconies, one you get from outside of the room, one you can get to from inside of the room. And here I was trying to do something kind of interesting, like a divider type thing. I tried stacking them, but as you rotated around, like in game, it didn't look quite right. Like, you could tell that the graphics were kind of glitching a bit, so I just went with the 1 level. And I think it was kind of an interesting way to break up the room. That way when you walk in, you're not just like, oh look, there's a bed. You see this kind of really cool divider. And again, I was having issues with like what to decorate with, just because I feel like she wouldn't allow that many things like hanging on the wall, and she wouldn't allow that many knickknacks. but I feel like the husband, would try and like sneak in some of these things. So that's why on his side of the bed he's got like books hanging on the floor, or not, wow, hanging on the floor. He's got books sitting on the floor, and you know, there's that thing above the door, which is like, I think it's like 2 doves, which I pictured as maybe like a wedding gift or something. And then also on one of their little porch things, I think I put it on the back porch, I put a artist easel, which is like I put the fanciest one. And I did that because, again, I picture the husband being a little more relaxed, a little more outgoing, you know, maybe a little bit more creative, and I can see him just hanging out on that back porch area, you know, painting away. So that's another reason why I kind of leave some of the walls blank, because when I decorate, I tend to leave a good amount of the walls blank, just because personally when I play, I like to hang up my own Sims photos, whether it be paintings that they do, or if they you know, they can like take selfies together, and then there's that photo studio. I leave room for that, just because it makes a home feel a lot homier, if that makes any sense. Homey, which I really like. So I did add, you know, 2 small little kitty paintings to the baby's room there, but I tried not to go too out of the way, just because I really was trying to restrain myself with how much clutter objects I was putting around. And then I had a little bit of a difficult time with this open area up here. I always have a difficult time with open area, like landing things, because I'm like, what the heck do you do with a landing? Like, it's not like you're gonna hang out there, but you still have to decorate it and make it look good. So it's like, ugh, I'm kind of struggling. So I went through so many different wall art pieces, but I just couldn't really find one that I liked. I did end up putting something on that one wall. Like, I take those logs away and I do those, I forget what they're called, but they remind me of lattice, basically. So I put those on the wall just as like, that way when you come up the steps you kind of see something. But other than that, I was like, I don't know what to do in this room. Can you really even consider it a room? Like, it's just kind of an awkward open space. So yeah, I think this is the one that I put the art easel on. Why do I keep forgetting what everything's called? Art easel. And I like putting them out on like balconies, because when you do the paint from wow, I can't remember my words at all. When you do paint from reference, they can at least look out into their neighborhood and maybe find something interesting to paint, whereas if you have the easel inside, it's like, okay, well, there's only so many things I can look at unless you plop something in front of them. But anyway, so here is the 3rd floor, which I completely turned into like a major home gym for the most part. So they have a hot tub up there, they have another yoga mat, they have all sorts of stuff that you would need to exercise. And I also added that like motion gaming rig, again, just because I picture the guy being into that. I thought that would be really cool. And then they do have a nice little bathroom up there, and I tried to stick with the kind of gym feel. You know how they have like mirrors everywhere or whatever, so I did that for the bathroom. So I thought that was really, really cool. But anyway, guys, we are going to get into the screenshots now, so you will be able to see the exterior of the house. And then I did floor plan shots of each floor instead of like room shots. So let me know if you guys like that better, if you like just the floor plan shots, or if you'd like me to add in the room shots as well. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and please go check out Ambrjet's channel, because she did an amazing build, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!